I'll allow Fari to go on. If we have time, then I'll continue from there. Thank you.
My name is Fari Hassan, and let me just begin by expressing a word of gratitude to the Ledeka Foundation, Young Executive Series, for inviting me into this program. I feel very honored to be doing this with Reverend Sadik. Thank you very much. And Uncle White. Uncle White has inspired me a lot. And it's such a pain that I didn't meet him here. The organizers of this program have asked me to have interaction with you on executing a strategy, getting work done. So it's always the case that anytime we want to do something, there's always a strategy. And so one's expectation is that if Kofi is doing something and there's a strategy, and Kojo is also doing the same thing, the same strategy, then you should get the same results. But that has not been the case. The manner in which you execute a strategy is very important. I draw so much inspiration from a man called Steve Jobs. I don't know how many of you have heard about him, but Steve Jobs is the founder of Apple, all the iPhones, the iPads, and all those ones. Apple produces all those gadgets. And so what I'll be doing with you this afternoon is to share with you a personal experience based on applications of Steve Jobs' principles. Like I said earlier, I work with an organization called Stanbic Bank. I was employed into that organization at the time that they were making losses. And my objective was to turn the business into profitability within 1 year. I want to share with you the story of that organization. My expectation is that it will impact you in your various roles. And so and this is a true life story. Deliberately, I've not touched anything in it. But this is like a living document for me. I've applied it throughout my life, and it has worked for me. When I joined Stanbic from Barclays Bank, there was a temptation to change the strategy. But I did not. Because this has worked for me, and I tried to apply it in Stanbic Bank as well. So I joined Stanbic Bank in January 2014. And I joined a unit called Personal and Business Banking Unit. They had made the loss since the bank opened their branch in Ghana. For 15 years, we were loss-making business. And I was expected to turn the business around. A business that had been lost for 15 years, I should turn it around in 1 year. So, as usual, I tried to go and use Steve Jobs' principles about execution of jobs. So, Stanbic Bank said they wanted to be the best bank to work for. As the head of customer channels, I had an obligation to get my teams to feel that they're working for the right organization. I had a job to make sure that when my staff wake up in the morning, they are so excited about coming to work. They were coming to work for that particular brand. I thought that the first thing one needed to do was to find out whether the staff really love what they do. Because when you love what you do, you give up your best in that particular role. And Steve Jobs' first principle is you should do what you love. Do what you love. When you do what you love, you would kill yourself for it without even realizing you are killing yourself for it. thought that to get staff to really feel they're working for the best organization, we needed to make sure they love what they do, or they do what they love. How would you do that? That was a challenge. How would we find out, or how would we get people to do what they love? So we quickly went back to people and found out, how long have you been in your role? How long have you been in your role? Do you enjoy it? Can we do different things? Blah, blah, blah. The feedback was not so encouraging. So we did what we call job profiling. We profiled everybody to be sure that people were in the right roles. And of course, you should follow your heart. You should follow your heart. I don't know what the heart is, if you ask me. So for me, I think the heart is the instinct. Anytime my instinct tells me to do something, I feel God is speaking to me, let me do it. And so personally, I didn't start to be a banker. And those who know me usually say I'm a politician. That is what I wanted to do. I had so much love for politics. I was an ex-president at KN University. And so when people see me in the bank, they don't understand why I moved to the bank. It's just by default. And it's just because I followed my heart. Do you have any regrets? Not at all. Think differently about your career. It was also important for me to get the staff who work for this great organization to begin to think differently about their careers. Also, Malcolm X or Martin Luther King, one of them said that if you are a sweeper of the streets of the United States, do it very well. That you will be said to be the best sweeper ever. And so we actually have security men, and so I'm using that, who earn higher than branch managers in other places. Because they have done the job very well, and they're the best at it. So you must begin to think differently about your career. You can be the best branch manager, without necessarily being the regional manager or the area manager. You can be an exceptional teller. You put a premium on yourself, say that anyone who wants the best of this market will come to you. And sorry I'm using markets as an example. That's what I've worked throughout my life. And so these were the three principles that we applied in making our organization the best we want to work for. Unfortunately, because these are very subjective measures, if you ask me whether my staff feel they are working for the best organization or not, I cannot tell. But when I engage them, I see a remarkable improvement in how they feel about the organization. And I'm one of those who believe that there's a relationship between staff engagement and productivity. And so when productivity goes up, I'm tending to believe that maybe, just maybe, this is working. So you can see the task. A loss-making business has been taxed to do 20 million in profit after tax. In 1 year. 20 million Ghana cedis. Not PBTO, this is PAT. Profit after tax. So, as part of my job again, I said, well, let me align sales to job principles to achieving this 20 million Ghana cedis. So we said that to do this, it meant that we were leaving a dent in the universe. And so everyone needed to think about, how do I leave a dent on the universe? Whether you are a branch manager, you are a regional manager, you are whoever, you must begin to think about how do you leave a dent on the universe. And so it became a personal challenge to everyone, that how do you leave a dent on the universe? How do you aspire to be the best in what you do? How do you ensure that examples are given about Ghana in your role in other countries? So Stanbic Bank Kenya is talking about you because of what you have done. How do you challenge yourself to do that? And of course, can we begin to think differently about the vision of the organization? Can we begin to think differently about it? And so it is a challenge with you, to everyone who works with Stanbic Bank this year, that begin to challenge the vision of Stanbic Bank. And of course, let's inspire evangelists. One of the things I realized when I was reading about Apple is that if you actually went to speak to an employee of Apple, they are so messianic about the organization. They are so passionate about it. They will tell you what the iPhone does. Oh, they are so crazy about it. So we also realize that to be able to really do this 20 P80, you must get people to be evangelists of Stanbic Bank. What do you do? So what we did here was that, and I can see I've got lots of people here, so they know what I normally do with these things. So what we did with this one was that, as is natural with every organization, anytime a new person comes into the organization, people are suspicious of him. Think about it. And so, in your branch, when a new branch manager comes in, you guys are suspicious about him. How does he work? And he wants us, you are the people, you want to wait and see. It's rush before you come up into him. Especially if you are not careful, and there are people in the organization who think they have done the job you have brought outside to come and do. It becomes a very big challenge for you. And so I'm sure for those of you who left Barclays for SGSSB, the first thing you realized was people were actually distancing themselves from you. You have to work to win their trust. How do you work to win their trust? I was working with Barclays before I moved to Stanbic Bank. And I was the regional manager for the 3 northern regions in Brown. I did that job for 2 years. And it was the same thing. I was a regional manager 26 years. And so the suspicion was very intense. You had people who did not think that you should do the job at your age. You had people who also thought that you had just come from outside. So the forces were just too many. You needed to win their trust and confidence. It was very important. In the 3 northern regions, you can actually do 10 assignments in a day, unlike Accra, where if you decide to do someone on Smithers Road, the whole day will be spent there because the traffic is just too much. So it was easy for you to go for social functions of your staff. And that's one thing that I realized we needed to do a lot. So you started going for, they have a naming ceremony, you go, there's a wedding, you go, blah, 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 blah. It was very well in front. And so within a very short time, they realized that it was, after all, just like this. So they warmed up into your strategy. When I was transferred from the 3 northern regions to Accra to come and be the regional manager in Accra, that was even where it was more difficult. Because you needed to prove that you were capable. And so in Accra, I realized I could not be doing the same social functions. Because today, Yao's wife has just given birth at Kaswa. You've gone to Kaswa. And then, that same day, Adjo's husband, Adjo lost her father-in-law. And the father is having that Florida. So it was difficult to do that. So you needed to find another strategy to ensure that these guys will warm up into you. And I'm not a Christian, but I believe the Holy Ghost. So the Holy Spirit spoke to me. And this is what the Holy Spirit told me. Look, you can't be Gasper, Kofridia, or you can still touch these guys' hearts when you begin to give them text messages on social, on public holidays. So on one of those holidays, I had the phone number of every single staff in my cluster, including the messengers and security men. I dropped them text messages just to thank them for their continuous hard work. and to urge them on. And it was amazing that the Father had on them. It was amazing. And they said, oh, so you think about us on weekends, you think about us on holidays. I said, oh, it's glad this is the Holy Spirit. So, in inspiring evangelist in the organization, it worked for me in Accra. So, Islamic Bank, we said, okay, even in doing these text messages, why don't you add birthday cards? So, for the staff who has never had a birthday card from his or her boss, on the person's birthday, he gets a birthday card from you. And that's also had a very significant impact on them. If you ask me how did I get this idea, I didn't get these ideas from books. It was just instinctive. Holy Spirit. So we try to inspire evangelists. And this is an ongoing process. I guarantee you that if I'm washing down, the Holy Spirit speaks to me when I'm washing down actually. When I'm washing down and I get an idea, I just go out and I will implement it. I know very someone's going to ask me, how far have you gone with the 20 million? I'll tell you how far we've gone with it. And so, we realized that to do the 20 million, you know, profit is a function of cost and revenue, right? We needed to improve efficiency and effectiveness. How would you do this? Unfortunately, I believe Steve Jobs' principles is applicable everywhere. Everywhere, whether you are a leader, and I guess all of us here are leaders, we are not leaders, we soon be leaders. Kickstart your brain. There are a lot of us here who have not thought about doing things differently. When the customer walks to you, is there a better way I could do this? So you need to kickstart. You need to begin to be thinking outside the box. And of course, you need to also think differently about how you think. And let me be a bit controversial here. I'm a Muslim. And I believe in God's existence. But there are times I ask myself, who created God? And the more I ask myself this question, the more I felt that God never existed. And so, one day, I was just reflecting about how I think. And I was, is it possible that we just came into being as human beings? It's not possible. It's not possible. So I don't know what the composition of this pen drive is. But my assumption is, assuming they said we use water, bitumen, and sand to create a pen drive. Is it possible that when I put water here, bitumen and sand, for 1,000 years and I come back, it will turn into a pen drive? So someone might have created it. So it's not possible that it will just come into existence. It's not possible. If they say you are created by cement, by water, by sand, if you put this together for even 2,000 years, 1 million years, there's no way it will develop into a human being. And so as I started thinking differently about these things, I started getting answers to those things that really bothered me. And so I really came to believe that there was a supreme being. Not because I was born to a Muslim family, but because I actually began to think differently about how to talk about the universe. It is important that we begin to think differently about how we think. Don't just be thinking one way. What if? What if? What if? And it will amaze you the impact the answers you get will have on your careers. And of course, you need to seek out new experiences. You need to seek out new experiences. How is it in other places? It's important. And the last time I was listening to Uncle Ebo Height, he said something that has stayed with me for a very long time. He said that in the next 5 years, the difference between you and your colleagues will be because of 3 things. 1, the books you read. 2, the kind of friends you have. And then 3, what's the third one? You mentioned here. The kind values you have. There are two, right?
The places you go.
And the places you go, absolutely. There are three. So you need to seek out different experiences. I don't know which church you attend. It's important that you begin to find out how it is done in other places. How is a Sunday sermon done in other places? And so when I was living in Nansuma, every Sunday, even though I was in Muslim, I was always at SNDC. Every Sunday. Every Sunday you see me at Isaac, people like, oh, you are not a Christian. I said, no, I enjoy listening to the Reverend President. So this is what happened. When I was in KNUST, I had a friend called Philemon. So I visited him very often. So his roommates became my friends. So one day, one of his roommates, he was called Pastor. Pastor was coming to a friend in my hall, and he saw me holding that machine at the Muslim Tuesday prayers. So he went, Brian, John, why are you holding that thing? These guys, I don't like them. They are very violent, don't be touching their things. if you want that, they can come out, don't be touching their things. So when he finished, I was like, oh, Pastor, I'm a Muslim, I'm one of them. So just imagine the embarrassment. Oh, actually, you be different, wow. So he went back and, he was so embarrassed. He went back and was telling Philemon, my friend in the room, that this is how he moved. And the guy said, well, my Farihan doesn't care. He understands you. He understands you. That was his birthday. So you need to seek out new experience. I go to Reverend Methodabel's church, and I listened to him, and I started listening to him in 1992. I've been listening to him for very, he has inspired me a lot. So it's good to begin to look out for new experiences. And so when I finished, Peter and I went out to a conversation around new things altogether. And so it's very important. It's very, very important that you just don't enjoy your comfort zone. And so I keep telling my teams that anytime any organization shows interest in you, look at it. And never refuse to go because you think you cannot do it. Your measure as a good person depends on how you've done in different places. So never be afraid of a change. Seek out new experiences. And so I have one of the guys here who also left Barclays and joined me in Islamic Bank. And I'm sure before he left, he was afraid of what he was coming to meet. He's having a different new experience altogether. If he goes back to Barclays Bank, you will not be the same person. It's always good for you to seek out. The fourth principle, which was very important for us, was also to aggressively acquire profitable customers in our chosen segments. How would you do this? So what we told our teams was that nothing is impossible in 2014. If a customer comes to you and says that I want to bank with you in heaven, don't tell the customer, why, how can you bank with us in heaven? If you can't think about it, refer to another person. And just some 15 years ago, if you told my father is back in Italy, another reading not right. And he's one of those who, 15 years ago, if you told him you could actually speak to someone on a well phone, he would say it's not possible. And actually currently, banks have ATMs that accept cash. You know that? Yeah. There was this man called Bob Diamond. Bob Diamond was the group CEO of Barclays Bank. And Bob Diamond said that he would never put his money in an ATM. He just couldn't believe that it was him well. So there are even legends who if you told them 10, 15 years ago that this was doable, they would say it is not possible at all. So in the same way, we wanted to really let our teams understand that The fact that you have not thought about it does not mean it's not possible. And so, you needed to see the genius in the craziness of our customers. Today, one of the things I'm thinking about is it not possible for you to wake up in the morning, lie on your bed, and do all your banking transactions on your bed without going to the banking hall? Is it not possible? Why can't we begin to do something like that? It's not possible for you to walk into the ATM machine and then it is speaking to you in the language of your choice. So currently, if you cannot use the ATM and you go to the machine, you have a security man helping you out with how to use it. If you are not careful, your PIN is compromised and all sorts of things. So isn't it possible for you to develop a system where when you go in, there's an interactive screen talking to you? Is it not possible? And because of all the things that are happening now, we think it is possible. I'm sure some 10 years ago would have all said it's not possible at all. Today banks have come out, they have ATM machines that accept check. So why can't you apply for your loan on an ATM? Why can't you go to Facebook that everyone is and then open an account with a bank? With any bank of your choice. So the question I'm asking myself as the head of customer channels in Barclays is, instant payments. No, as a love Barclays. Why can't we do all this? So when your customers wake up in the morning, I don't know what happens when I wake up in the morning, the first thing I take is my phone. That's the first thing I take. Blah, 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 blah. So, why can't it be that when you wake up in the morning, you take your phone, you actually have a barcode on your phone, or you can swipe your check on your phone, and then it shows on your account. And maybe I don't have the solution now, but I believe as you begin to challenge yourself this way, you begin to find answers for those questions. So we challenge our teams that never think anything is impossible. Anything the customer wants is possible. If you have not thought about it, it's because you have not thought about it. It's not because it's not possible. So if a customer walked into any of your branches and said, "This is what I want," all you need to do is just to send an email. We create an email and just send it there. Let's now have a group of thinkers to look at it. And so we have a group of thinkers now in Islamic Bank. We have a special email address. If you ever thought about anything, you don't have the solution, just send the email there. They begin to think about it. And of course, you need to also begin to think different about your customers. Your customers are so important to you that, contrary to our beliefs that we are employed by our organizations, I don't think we are employed by our customers. If you think carefully through that, so today, if your MD resigns from your organization, in the next 2 months maximum, you have a new MD. If your branch manager resigns, in the next 2 weeks, you have a new branch manager. But if the customer actually resigns from your branch, the branch is going to be closed down. Fact. So if you actually think through it, I think we are employed by customers. So it's important that you begin to think differently about them. Not seeing them as customers anymore, but seeing them as your employers. When you begin to see your customers as your employer, you realize how beholden you are to the customer. And so you begin to give them the leadership and respect. And so today, your boss actually walked into your office. You give your boss more leadership than you have given to a customer. But if you actually saw a customer as your employer, I'm sure you are giving him more courtesy than you have given to your boss. So there was a challenge to our team that you need to begin to see the customer differently. You need to begin to see him or her as your employer and not as your customer. And of course, you don't just sell accounts to them. You just don't sell credit accounts, savings accounts to them. You sell to them dreams. What those things can do. how confident they will be if they sign on to them. I think that one of the challenges that we face as human beings is the fact that we want to do so many things at the same time. And so you end up seeing that nothing is done at all. So you say no to 1,000 things. So in trying to transform Stanbic Bank, a lot of things came into mind. My boss gave me huge assignments, plenty. I said, no, let's just pick 5 or 6 of them that will move the needle, that will change the entire landscape and execute them. So we had to say no to 1,000 things. And all these principles are they are all Steve Jobs principles. Can you begin to do that? Can you begin to have retirement or pension planning with your customers? And the last of it is, and I think that is where we all fall short. How do we tell our story from here? If you do all these wonderful things, how do you tell the story? And so there are many of you here who actually do all the things that your bosses take credit for. So you are a teller in the branch, but all the sales are done by the teller. Your regional manager hardly finds out that you are the one who does the sale. People call it visibility. It is important that people get to know what you have done. And you just don't worry about it. You couch a very good story to say about what you have done. How do you say it? In different ways. And so I think for a lot of us, what has hindered our growth in our various roles is the fact that you have done this over and over again and you think no one is rewarding you for it. No one has seen it. How will they reward you? So it's important that when you do it, you showcase that you have done it. Yes, if your bosses appraise you, make sure your regional manager or whoever see that you did it. And so, in my current organization, I have tellers coming to me and saying that, oh, and you gave this award to this person. You know, I did 5 of what you gave me, what he brought in. And I'm like, I said ahead of I don't know about it. But the fact that he has told me, that makes me begin to have my eye on that person as well. And so, sorry I'm putting the Lord this one. What the Lord used to do was, anytime you realize that there was a very good teller somewhere, the Lord would take the person and put the person as a salesperson. Because anytime there's a sales activity, the person seems to even do better than the salespeople. And they not only found out because the person sold him or herself very well. So that's my message to you. That for all the good things you do, it's almost impossible that your MD sits up there and sees, especially because it does not fall in line with your core duties. So you must find a way of making people see what you do. So telling your story from there is very important. And of course, you must master the message very well. You must master it very well. That when you are saying it, oh, you know, you know, I did 200% of my targets. You know, the 200%, you are just supposed to sell 4 accounts. You sold 8 accounts. 200%, oh, that's lovely. 200, yeah, 200%. Sometimes they may not even ask you how many, what, they will just 200%, it's a lot. So you must master how to tell that story. When saying it, so there are some people in our organization who don't do well at all. But they are always seen as people on the top. Oh, he says I've not met, but I've just done I've done 85% exactly, you met it. They have a very nice way of telling their stories. And you must master your story as well. It's a secret to your growth. And so for me, if you ask me, I think that Steve Jobs is the greatest corporate storyteller. You read his books, you read his autobiography, you watch his movie, and he clearly demonstrates to you how his involvement in Apple has gotten the company to where it is today. So you two need to be your own Steve Jobs. It starts right now. It starts right now. You'll have to start right now. But you should have started yesterday. And it's not late. You too can be another Steve Jobs. Thank you very much. I would like to take questions if there are any questions from me. I know you guys want how have you felt on the 20 minutes. Any questions that you have for me on your career, which I'm happy to share with you.
So how have you fared with the target so far?
Yeah, so far, as at the end of July, we actually exceeded our annual targets. Yeah, and I've learned that anytime you make the sky your limit, you fall on the trees, right? 20 million sounded so ambitious, so crazy. And people thought it was not possible from a loss-making business 20 million. But because I believed in it, and you must believe in what you are doing. You cannot be successful without being passionate about it at all. So you must be passionate about success. If you want to succeed and not passionate about it, you cannot succeed. You cannot succeed. So I genuinely believed it was doable. And maybe it was because of the experience I had in my previous organization. So people said, you guys are being overly ambitious. You guys just came from your Barclays banking. You want to put your things on this. So as of July, we actually exceeded our targets for the year. So any other thing will be from now to the end of the year is going to be bonus for this. And so that's a kind of thoughts we all need to have. You need to be very ambitious. I am. But it's not enough for you to just be ambitious. You need to work towards achieving your ambitions. And that's why you need to make a lot of personal sacrifices. If you have to pay 100 Ghana cedis to come and listen to Uncle Lebo White, pay. It's part of the sacrifice. If you have to stop watching Nigerian movies to read just 10 or 15 pages of someone's story, sacrifice. And those of you who've done economics, you call it opportunity cost. You need to invest in yourself. And investments in finances, in timing, in everything. So we felt really well on it, very, very well on it. Very, very well on it. That's why I think that Steve Jobs principles would work for you if you could say apply them in your daily lives.
Last question. Yes, sir. So, in executing your strategy and Stanbic, because you came from Barclays, you had the staff already there. What did you do about them? Because the staff were already there, they were not meeting the targets. You came in, so I want to know what you did with the existing staff.
And thank you very much. That's what I meant from the beginning when I said that. I think I would be so unfair to say they didn't have a strategy. They had a strategy. But it didn't work. Because of how it was being executed. And let me start a bit controversial here as well. When you marry and you want to give birth, you cannot give birth if you do not have something with your wife. But even that something has to happen at a certain time, otherwise you don't get pregnant. So the manner in which you even execute a strategy is very important. And those are the things that I shaped, those are the things that guided the manner in which we did them. If you want to do 20 million and your staff are not passionate, they don't believe in it, it will not happen. If you want to do 20 million and customer experience has not improved, you cannot do it. So you need to find a way to let your customers feel this is the bank that looks up to our proof. You needed to let your staff feel that this is the best bank to work for, and then they will give their best. You needed to get your staff to feel very passionate about what they were doing. And if you're a leader, you cannot carry your team along if you're not passionate. You have to. And you must believe in what you are doing. So anytime people were very pessimistic about the 20 minutes, I told them, go do it. So in our first month, we did about 900,000 Ghana cedis. Second month, we did 10,000 Ghana cedis profit. People like that, we told they are over ambitious, they can't do it. Because me, my wife has a shop, that's for someone, and she makes over 10,000 Ghana cedis a month. In the whole PBB, has to pay 10,000 Ghana cedis. And I said, we will do it. And I cannot discount the invisible hand in what we have done. I can't discount it. I'm a very prayerful person. I believe that God helps those who help themselves. So the things we are talking about is about helping ourselves for God to also help us.
Thank you very much. And if you care to know, Harry was my boss when I was at Barclays. He was my area manager. He was my boss. And frankly, if he didn't say the last bit, what he said, I would have said it. I was waiting to say it. He's a Muslim, but he actually went through Presby education, all through. So if you see us worshiping at the branch, he joins us. So he behaves like a Christian, although he's a Muslim. So I wasn't surprised hearing him talking about the Holy Spirit. He meant it. What I've observed about him, if they are doing Ramadan, any fast at all, he takes time off to do it full time. So he gets truly committed to it. Sometimes he would have to travel all the way to Tamale to just be there, stay out of town, just be focused on doing the fast. So I beg you, like he said quite clearly, you can't isolate the spiritual aspect. So he's a Muslim, he's mentioned the principles, they all sound very nice, but if you also don't get committed to the spiritual bit, you get it wrong.